Don't forget to like and subscribe to Jolie Knots Crochet. Share with your friends. Hit that little notification bell so you can get notified when new patterns release. All our videos are available in left and right-handed tutorials.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Jolie Knots Crochet. I'm Crystal and today we're going to be making the mini Cabbage Patch shawl. Now, I call it the mini Cabbage Patch shawl because it is a play on the Cabbage Patch stitch that I did. I figured out how to increase it and I made the stitches go over 3 stitches instead of the 4 stitches because I didn't want big holes into it. Now, the size of this is 27 inches from the middle of the top all the way to the bottom corner, and then from one side, the wingspan one side to the next is 70 inches wide. The yarn that we're using from this project today is from Ice Yarns. This yarn is called Magic Glitz. It is a light 3-weight yarn with 95% acrylic and 5% lurex, which is that sparkle that's going through that little metallic thread that you can see. That sparkle is just amazing. The color changes are fantastic. I fell in love with this yarn. I first used it when I did the corner to corner alpine stitch, and I wanted to use it on another project, so this is what I chose. Alright, this project will have a written pattern available. Check the link in the description box below. We are also going to be using a 5mm hook, and you'll need a tapestry needle to weave in your ends. Now, this project can be done in any size yarn and any size hook that you desire. This is just what I happen to choose for my project. This pattern is a super simple 2-row repeat. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you the rows, and then you're just going to keep going until the size that you desire. So taking our hook and our yarn, we're going to get started with the slip knot. And now we're going to chain 4. Into the 4th chain from the hook, we're going to put 4 double crochets. Now the 3 chains from our beginning chain 4 will count as a double crochet. So we're going to end this row with 5 double crochets. Now for row 2, we're going to chain 4. Turn your work, and in between your first and your second stitches here, we're going to put a V-stitch. Chain 1, double crochet. So your V-stitch is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Those are working in between your first 2 stitches. Now we've got our first stitch, our second stitch, and we have 3 stitches in between. So what we're going to do here is we're going to skip 2 stitches, and then we're going to double crochet into the 3rd stitch, chain 1, and now we're going to cross back. You can cross back going in front of your double crochet or in back of your double crochet, whatever's easier for you, but you've got to stay consistent with where you're putting your stitches, if you're going in the front or the back. So I'm going to go in the back, and I'm going to find that first double crochet that I skipped, and I'm going to put a double crochet there. So we're making an X stitch over the top of our 3 double crochets. And now into the last space here between our last 2 stitches, we'll put a V-stitch, and a treble. And so this is what your first 2 rows should look like. Chain 4, V-stitch, X stitch, V-stitch, and a treble. Now let me show you your repeat rows. So you've got 1 and 2, those are just set up. Rows 3 and 4 are your repeat rows, and that's what you'll repeat all the way until you have your desired size. So the first thing that we're going to do is chain 4. Turn your work, and in between your first 2 stitches, we're going to put 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to find our V-stitch. We're going to put 3 more double crochets into our V-stitch. And next, that's brought us up to our cross stitch, the X. And you're going to find that chain space that you made, and we're going to put 3 double crochets. Moving along to our next V-stitch, 3 double crochets. Now we've got 1 double crochet and our chain 4 from the beginning left, and we're going to put our last 3 double crochets into that stitch. Well, into that space. Finishing out with 1 treble crochet. So your third row should be groups. Your third row should be groups of 3 double crochets. Okay. Moving along, we're going to chain 4. Turn our work, and in between these first 2 stitches, we're going to place a V-stitch. Now we're going to make a series of cross stitches over the top of every 3 double crochet group. So we're skipping 2 stitches and double crocheting into the third. Chain 1, and remember, if you're moving over the front, you're going to continue moving over the front throughout the pattern. If you're crossing behind the back, you're going to continue crossing behind the back throughout your pattern. So I'm going to yarn over, go from the back into the first skipped stitch and place a double crochet. And that creates our cross stitch. Now, moving along to our next 3 crochet group, we're skipping the first 2 stitches and double crocheting into the third. Chain 1, moving back to the first skipped stitch. I'm going from behind and I'm going to double crochet. And you're going to repeat that all the way down, working a cross stitch over every 3 double crochet group you have. Making sure that you chain 1 in the middle, because that's where we're going to be working our next 3 double crochet groups. And over our last one. And when you get to the end and you've got your last double crochet and your chain 4, you're going to insert a V-stitch and a treble all into the same space. And that's what the end of your 4th row will look like. Now you're just going to repeat rows 3 and 4, ending on a row 3 as a solid double crochet. So from there you're just going to turn your work and then repeat row 3. And that's it. Super simple 2-row repeat, and you'll have yourself a beautiful shawl. Alright everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you do end up making this project, make sure you join us on Facebook in the Jolie Knots Crochet community and show us what you've made.